everybody, and welcome to the Kawaii Bookworm Plays with Yarn podcast. I'm Hannah, and I'm a Jersey girl who studies at the University of Liverpool. So today I have yet another non-FO from the projects that I've been working on since the last episode, and so I'm going to talk about one of my backlogged ones. I was hoping to have an FO this week, but that didn't happen. So the one I'm talking about is my begonia swirl shawl. This was my first shawl that I made. Let's see, I'm holding it the right way. Nope, holding it backwards. This was the first shawl that I made. It was also the first time I did lace. I made a modification to the pattern and I did beading. So the modification that I made was adding an extra flower to each section. And I did that because I wanted it to be big. It was not as, it wasn't going to be as big as I would have liked. So I wanted it to wrap around really nicely. So I made that modification. And then I added beads along the veins of the flower, I guess you can say. There you go. Sorry, the lighting doesn't want to work today. We've got some clouds, but also some sun. And so it's gonna kind of change a lot. Sorry. So the yarn that I used is a merino tencel from Webs. I don't remember exactly which one it was and what the colorway name is. I made this 2 years ago, I think. And I haven't actually worn it. I've been too nervous. But it was the merino tencel one that comes on the cones at like 1,000 yards per cone because I didn't want to worry about weaving in ends for something so big. And I can't remember where I got my beads from, but they're this really pretty kind of pale gold color if it wants to pick up the right shades. Everything is so yellow right now. I don't know why it's doing that. Oh well. But the begonia swirl shawl pattern is by Carfield Ma. And it was, from what I remembered, it was fairly well written. The modification I did was based off of Ocean Knitter's modification, and that I got a little confused with. And I ended up with 6 more stitches per section than I actually needed, and so I had to figure out how to decrease, but I figured that out, and you can't even tell. So that was that. On to my whips. So this was the one that I thought I was going to have finished this week, but the day I was going to work on it, I went to the Christmas market and had some mulled wine, and I think I am probably taking after my mother and am allergic to something that's in cheap wine, and I came home and had a massive headache. So I sat and watched Gilmore Girls and napped instead of knitted. And so I have one mitten for the Ulichfeld mittens from Ellie of Skin Deer Knits. This was the mystery knit along pattern, but all the clues are out, as you can tell, because the mitten is finished. But the knit along is until the end of the year. And I will be able to get into the knit along. I am more than halfway finished with my second mitten. and I think it's coming along nicely. I can't tell if I'm doing better with my floats on this one than I did on this one or not. I feel like this one's a little bit lumpier here, but much better on the cuff. And that might just be because I've been getting a little bit of the second mitten syndrome, and I'm just like, I just need to finish these. Also, it's supposed to get really cold here this week, so I want to finish these before the cold really sets in, because that's not something I want to deal with. So I've got, this one's the right hand mitten, and it fits just as well as this one does. Though the one problem I have with this is it doesn't really go over my watch. I have to kind of fight it over it, but yeah. But that's where they're at. I am using the West Yorkshire Spinners yarn. They don't have colorway names. It's their Air Valley Essential DK line, and I am using a 2.5 millimeter Addi needle. I don't remember their socket. They're the sock rockets or their turbos. I didn't keep the packaging. So that's that. These will probably get finished today after I clean, because I really have to clean. But they should be done by the end of this weekend. That's for sure. Those are done. And then my next whip is not in the order that I wrote it on my notes, but whatever. This is the Sockhead Slouch Hat by Kelly McClure, and this is done in Volanvine yarns. This one is the Dead Calm colorway in her Volca base, which is a merino cashmere nylon base, and this one is Outlander in the Footsie base. I'm slightly nervous I'm not going to have enough yarn, because I'm at that point in the skein and I still have 2 inches before the decreases. But I also remember I kind of hit this point with the hat that I made for myself, and I was fine. I had quite a bit left over, but I'm not really sure. I'm nervous because this is supposed to be a trade for a commission, and I want to make sure that I do it in the right colors. If it turns out that I don't have enough, I know I definitely have enough in the Outlander colorway, but on the blitzed base, so the sparkly one. So I'll ask my friend if I don't have enough, if that one is okay to use for the main portion of the hat instead, because I want to make sure I get her the colors that she wants, but I might not have enough, which is problematic. Again, and these are on the 3 millimeter Addi needles. Don't remember if they're turbo or not. I'm terrible at keeping packaging for this kind of stuff, which I probably should, because it'd be easier to store these rather than just having them tossed in a box. But I didn't think about that when I first started knitting, and now I sit there and I'm like, I know I have 3 millimeters and I know I have 2.5 millimeters of these. Which one is which? And so I have to put them together, and I'm like, okay, which one's smaller? Which one's bigger? Yeah, it's bad. And so my counting. What is counting? My third whip I started the other day. I was getting a little bit tired of how much thinking the colorwork mittens needed, and also how mindless the stockinette was for the hat. And so I wanted something in between that would be um, not mindless, but not really complicated. And also my skein from Coastal Colors, the 60% superwash merino, 20% silk, and 20% yak was just screaming to be made into something. Um, and it wanted to be something that was lacy, but not super lacy, so you could get that nice sheen from the silk and also the really pretty colors that it's in. And so I found this series of scarves that's called the Three Sisters scarves. And at first I was going to do the second one, but the more I was looking at the other two, I realized that the third one would work best for this. And so I've only got about an inch. I'm not even past the first section of the repeat round because I've been trying to get the mittens finished. But I needed something I needed a new cast on, something that wasn't totally mindless, but not super complicated. And so I think this one will do quite well. The pattern is by Monica Steinbauer, and it's just this simple like lace. Sorry, the lighting's really bad today. It's always really bad. Hopefully that'll change soon. Let's see if that works. It's just this simple lace in kind of these what will be diamond sections, because it's only the first one. It just looks like triangles. And I think I've like stretched it out, and it stretches pretty well into a good size. So after blocking, it will be nice. And it is a dream to work with this yarn. It is so soft, and it just has this really pretty, just this really pretty sheen to it from the silk. And the colors are gorgeous. It doesn't have a colorway because all of the when I bought it from them at Nottingham Yarn Expo, they said all of their colorways are one of a kind, so they only do really small batches and then just play around with their yarn. And so you can't really get the same colors again. And I got this out of their bargain bin too, so it was a bit cheaper than what it normally would have been. But it's really, sorry, excuse me, my voice just disappeared there for a second. It's just a really pretty colorway. I like to use these yarn bras, as people call them, just to keep my ball from falling apart. And all of my projects have kind of been, depending on which one I'm working on, and where I'm going, I will put them in my bag from Debbie Dancer of Down Sheepy Lane. I love this. I've actually been able to fit at least 2 projects in it, even though it's a small one. I've fit the mittens and the hat, and I've done the hat and the scarf. And so it has quite a bit of room, and I could still fit my tin in there, which I keep forgetting to stick in. But I love it. I'm really happy with this. It's so cute. And that will segue nicely into the announcement, which is just to remind everyone that the giveaway for a skein of the Glimmer sock in a one-of-a-kind colorway called Winterberry from Down Sheepy Lane is still going on. I will leave it up for another week, and we'll announce it on the next podcast episode, which will be the episode right before Christmas, if my life doesn't get too crazy. If not, it'll be the episode after Christmas. But I will be closing that on Thursday. What's Thursday's date? Thursday the 21st. The 21st. I will lock the forum post on Thursday the 21st at the end of the day, UK time. So probably about 9 o'clock, 9 or 10 o'clock, depending on when I get home. But I will lock that. The prompt that I came up with was, what is your New Year's knitting resolution? And even if you don't do New Year's resolutions, you can just say what one of your goals is. I said that mine is to knit a sweater, or a cardigan, because I've not knit a sweater or a cardigan yet, and I would really like to do that. My post doesn't count for the giveaway. Don't worry. I just wanted to give people something to start off of. And I have been reading everybody's comments, and I haven't been replying on the post because I don't want to mess up the numbers. But everyone seems to have really good goals, and I hope that everyone is able to, if not achieve them, at least try to achieve them, because I know that some of them can be difficult, especially if you're trying to finish off all your whips and the cast-on-itis hits. I know is difficult, or if you're trying to learn how to do socks, that can be a little bit frustrating at times. But I hope everyone's able to at least try to achieve their New Year's knitting resolutions. And I wish all of you luck in the giveaway. So last time I checked, there was, I think, maybe 12 responses to it, which is a pretty good response for a giveaway for a podcast that's so brand new. And I'm really happy that people are commenting and joining in. So, any more announcements? I might be moving, so I might have better lighting next time. I'm trying to get a different flat because I'm not exactly happy with the location that I'm in at the moment. I had to rent sight unseen because I was still in the States, and so I didn't really know and it was the first time coming to Liverpool, so I had no idea what the area was like. And it's not a bad area, it's just really noisy. And I have a dissertation to make, or to do next year, and I need to be functional for that. So I'm hopefully moving, and hopefully my lighting situation will get better because I will be moving. Though because of how cloudy and gloomy the UK can be, that might not change too much. But anything else? No. That's it for this podcast. I wish everyone luck in the giveaway and in their New Year's resolutions. And happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, Happy Kwanzaa, I think is also going on. So I hope you guys enjoy your winter breaks and the new year, and I hope everybody stuffs their faces. And get lots of knitting done. So goodbye, thank you for watching, and happy knitting.